This is Boris. We're going to make him bleed and monitor his health, blood levels, shock, blood pressure, blood loss per second, and health regeneration speed to see how they're all related. Before we make Boris bleed, let's quickly go over the default max values. We're starting with a health of 100, a blood volume of 5,000, shock of 100, a blood pressure of 1, which we'll talk more about in a moment. We're not taking any blood loss right now because we are not bleeding yet. And the max health regeneration speed is 0.03 per second. For the course of this video, we're going to keep water and energy at the max levels, so they won't play a factor here. We are also going to track the time that elapses after Boris gets his wound. Okay, let's simulate Boris getting shot in the arm with a .22 caliber bullet. This will create a medium flow bleeding wound. The fact that it's medium instead of low or high is important, but I'll explain more later. Here we go. We can see that our shock dropped to 93, but was back to 100 within a matter of seconds. Our health dropped to 98 and is regenerating at a speed of health regeneration per second, which is currently 0.028. We can see our blood volume decreasing at a rate of blood loss per second. The default blood loss for a medium flow wound is 12. Note that the game calculates blood loss about every 3 seconds or so. You may have noticed the health regeneration speed is decreasing. That's because health regeneration per second is a factor of your blood volume. So as blood volume decreases, your health regeneration per second also decreases. The less blood volume you have, the less quickly your health regenerates. Let's talk about this blood pressure number, which is currently 1. It's referred to as blood scale in the game code. It does not come into play until your blood volume falls below 4,000, and it's calculated as a linear interpolation between 2,500 and 4,000, 2,500 being the fatal blood level. The floor is 0.3, so that means your blood pressure will always be between 0.3 and 1. Let's fast forward a bit to see our blood volume drop below 4,000 so we can see the impact that blood pressure has when it begins to fall. Alright, our blood volume has fallen below 4,000, and as a result our icon has turned yellow, and our blood pressure has begun to drop. This results in our blood loss per second dropping as well. Blood loss per second is calculated as the default blood loss rate for a wound, in this case 12, multiplied by blood pressure. So when your blood volume falls below 4,000 and your blood pressure begins to fall, your wound bleeds more slowly. Let's fast forward a bit again until our blood volume falls below 3,500. Okay, our blood volume just hit 3,500, and as a result our icon has turned red. We're almost 2.5 minutes into this wound and our blood pressure is 0.6. Our blood loss has fallen from 12 to 7, and our health regeneration speed is less than half of when we started. Let's speed things up again until our blood volume falls below 3,000. Okay. Our blood volume just fell below 3,000, and as a result, our icon has started flashing. And when your blood volume is below 3,000, you begin to take shock damage. We're 4 minutes into the wound, and our blood pressure has hit the floor of 0.3. This means our blood loss per second has also bottomed out at 3.6. Let's fast forward things again. We're about to hit 5 minutes since the wound started. Every wound will self-heal in 5 minutes. Now that our wound is healed, a few things happen. We stop taking blood loss clearly because we are no longer bleeding, and as a result our blood volume will start to increase. Our blood pressure and health regeneration speed will also begin to increase, though it's so slow you can't see it yet. Every self-healing wound has a 40% chance of getting infected. We've lucked out here and that didn't happen. Let's fast forward just a bit for the next event. Our shock value has fallen below 25, and that means we lose consciousness. While we are unconscious, we regain shock value. I've sped it up slightly here until we reach 50 and we come back. Once we regain consciousness, our shock value quickly climbs back up to 100. And then there's a cooldown period before it starts to go down again. How that cooldown period is calculated is complicated and deserves its own video. But our shock value has now again fallen below 25 and we've passed out. Now we're going to regain consciousness and then eventually pass out again, and then regain consciousness again, and then finally our blood volume will climb above 3,000 and we will stop taking shock damage. You'll know this because your icon stops flashing once your blood volume is above 3,000. We're 17 minutes since the wound at this point, and you can see that our blood pressure has begun to increase. Our health regeneration speed has also been increasing, albeit very slowly. So that's how all of these metrics are connected to one another with a bleeding wound. But before we go, let's see what happens if we add a blood bag into the mix. Here we are with an actively bleeding wound. Our blood level is about 2800, we are taking shock damage, our blood pressure has bottomed out at 0.30, and our health regeneration speed is about 0.007. I'm going to heal the wound and then immediately apply the blood bag. A full blood bag contains 500 units of blood, so we immediately get that added to our blood volume. And if your blood was below 3000, then you immediately stop taking shock damage. Our blood pressure gets a massive boost, and our health regeneration speed goes up considerably, in this case about 65%. The blood bag gets slept on frequently, but when it comes to your blood and health regeneration stats, it's the real MVP. If you found this video helpful and you want to see similar videos in the future, be sure to like and subscribe.